It's time for another episode of The Oil Stream with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola, presented by Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen.
Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Oil Stream. Nielsen and Gazzola with you once again, and just a few things to discuss here. Nothing says madness like a delicious Popeye's chicken sandwich, brought to you by, as always, Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. Chris from GP. I'm just looking right here on the, I got my iPad kind of like right next to me. You see the comments and stuff? And very first comment just says, that offside was bullshit. So Chris is pretty fired up today. We'll obviously get to that. We'll get to your Boston Pizza Appetizer coming up here. Inside the numbers for Cool Bet. Take a look ahead as well. I like that Chris had to get that out of the way right away early. But Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen, treat your loved ones to a Popeye's chicken sandwich under the Christmas tree. I think that's the only way to do it. Yeah, why not? One? I mean, get it on Christmas Eve. You'll be good to go. Warm it up.
Yeah.
Warm it up. Yeah.
Popeye's Louisiana. Fine. Yeah. Popeye's Louisiana Kitchen. Dusty yesterday fueled the Jason Greger show and the Don Wheaton GM on White pre and post show.
Nice.
It
good.
Did. Delicious.
Good. Oh, that sounds very nice. That sounds delicious.
Except, so when Greger comes over to do the show at the Satellite Studios and Struddy too, like I'll have snacks or whatever, or some Struddy brought snacks yesterday, but like I picked up lunch because like we just kind of rotate. And I was like, Greg, you want Popeyes? He's like, yeah, I don't know if I've really had it before. I'm like, you'll love it. And he's like, well, what do I want for my side? I'm like, I get the mac and cheese, but you can get whatever you want, Greg. I'm heading over there right away. He's like,
wait, did Greg say
he's
never had Popeyes?
Something to that effect, you know, or he's probably had it and it just didn't resonate with him because he's a busy guy. And so I got him mac and cheese. I got some nugs for both of us. And then we got the chicken sandwich, obviously. And I was finishing up after doing the pregame show, about to leave. And I look on my kitchen counter and there's like a half-eaten mac and cheese with the fork still sitting in it. And I was like, Gregor.
Half a mac and cheese.
But he devoured everything else and no complaints. Yeah. So that means he liked it. He really liked it.
Popeye's Louisiana Christmas. Make it one of those. That would be good. They are the presenting sponsor of the Oil Stream, part of the Nielsen Media Cool Bet Network. All right, Tommy, how's the postgame show last night, buddy?
A little throwback to when the Latino Heat was on there, and it might have been me getting a little bit fired up. I mean, 85% of it was Darnell Nurse hate, and that was the perfect.
Saw that this morning too.
I mean, Darnell Nurse teed it up for everybody perfectly yesterday to just knock it out of the park, and they did. I couldn't read 3/4 of what was being said about Nurse on air without us getting pee slapped by the CRTC.
Yeah.
And then me, I just don't understand what offside is anymore. I tweeted out hey, this reminds me of Kale McCarr or something like that. And people, of course, being naturally people being people, would screen grab it, be like completely different. And then they're sending me Don Jackson or Dave Jackson's response to it. And I'm like, okay, clearly you people are missing the point. It's the spirit of the rule and the fact that we have a situation again where we don't know what the hell offside is, because of like some minutia to the rule. And I think Connor McDavid handled it well, and he kind of spoke to that. So to those still tweeting at me and telling me that this is why it is and this is why that one wasn't, that's not the point. The point is we have these ridiculous rules for offside to the point where we don't even know what offside is anymore, because one day what happened to McDavid yesterday is called onside, and then another day what happened to McCarr is called offside. And it seems like whatever day of the week it is, you don't know what you're going to get. You may as well just spin a random wheel and find out what the ruling is.
Yeah, it was an interesting ruling, that's for sure. And the one that actually I think is the best comparison, I tweeted out earlier today, and that was Kuznetsov. I don't know if you saw it. Kuznetsov. I mean, the Kuznetsov one, the McCarr one, the guy's taken up, like, I get it, whatever. I think
both don't get that one.
Yeah,
that one's still ridiculous.
Well, it did because we thought he had possession, right? Like he was a guy who was in control of. He was in control of the puck. I thought
Right.
McDavid was in control of the puck last night as well. By the letter of the law, I guess they got the call right. It's just frustrating on how you view offsides. Now,
Yeah.
then today I see that Kuznetsov one from a while ago, and I thought, the way they laid it out last night. His feet were offside. The puck hadn't come in yet. That's why it's called offside. The Kuznetsov one, his feet were in over the blue line. The puck hadn't come in. It was almost the exact same play, outside of the fact that there was a little bit more pressure on Connor McDavid. And I guess they're saying they knocked the puck away from him, and then he was offside because of it. But if the Kuznetsov one was not offside, then the one last night shouldn't have been offside, even if by the way they operate the rule book, I guess that's supposed to be offside. It's just,
See, you're twisting yourself in knots just trying to decipher it. When you think you know it, you're like, hang on a second. This is where we're at. This is where my frustration came from last night.
Yeah. Like, because
Yeah,
I guess technically he was offside, but I feel like he was the one who was dictating what was happening with the puck at that time. You know what I mean? Like,
what is possession now? What is possession?
Well, I guess possession is the puck has to be on your stick, right? Whether it's I guess technically when you're stick handling up the ice, when the puck is not on your stick, I guess technically you don't have possession, unless it's different because it's at the blue line. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Exactly. This is where we're at.
See, so if a guy skates backwards into the zone, obviously the puck 100% has to be carried in on his stick. He cannot be stick handling backwards into the zone. Minute he takes his stick off the puck, that would technically be offside, right? So,
okay, let me ask you this. If there was a delayed penalty and Connor McDavid had the puck where he did as he entered the zone yesterday, would they have whistled it down?
If there was a delayed penalty.
Yeah, against the Oilers, and McDavid had the puck the way he did coming across the blue line, do you think the officials would have whistled the play down because they would say McDavid has possession and therefore he touched the puck?
Oh, so okay, yeah. Man, I don't know how they differentiate from rule to rule, like
nobody does because it's subjective and they interpret it on a different night, a different way. That's exactly the point of what I'm
like.
The
only difference I can see in the Kuznetsov play, David play, is that like Kuznetsov kind of does it on his own, whereas there was some pressure on McDavid and maybe them knocking the puck loose from him took that possession away. Like, it didn't look like O'Reilly touched it. I watched it from a couple angles. I'm like, I don't know if O'Reilly touched that puck. Did he force him to have to bobble it a bit or move it inside and take a stick off it? Maybe. I mean, so what do you do? What's the solution for the National Hockey League here? Like, I don't know. I think it's just one of those rules that's just going to continue to be called this way, buddy, to be honest with you. Outside of saying that offside's no longer reviewable. Where would you come out with them saying we're taking away offside reviews? I'd be okay with it. I'd rather them not been able to review offsides, because how many blatantly offside goals have we seen that directly led to a goal? You know what I mean? Like, usually off the rush, usually it's like they circle around for a bit, then like 40 seconds later, they're like, it was an offside 40 seconds ago. Like, to me, it's a Bush League wimp call anyway. So I would just take out offside review.
Immediately, my mind says, yes, get rid of it because it's getting stupid, not just in Oilers games, but across the board. But at the same time, it's like you want to get it right. And then say you get rid of it for a little bit, the debate says, well, we should bring back offside review. It's this crappy, vicious cycle that always happens. So I don't know if there's a right answer to this. But here we are.
It probably isn't. But congratulations, Gary Bettman. You got us talking again. Well done. All right, let's dive into your Boston Pizza Appetizer. You can join us next Tuesday night. That's this upcoming Tuesday. It's the very next Tuesday on the calendar, December 20th, Terwilliger Boston Pizza. And pop by at 6 o'clock. We'll be locked and loaded, ready to go at 6 o'clock. Sit around, have a few bevies, talk some Oilers after. Should be a pretty nice evening. So grab some buddies, pop on by. We'll be in the lounge at the Boston Pizza in Terwilliger on Tuesday at 6 o'clock. And I'm hoping to get another smoked ham and chicken stromboli sandwich. All right. You know where we're going with the appetizer today, buddy, and that is Darnell Nurse last night. I saw it this morning in the old James H. Brown inbox there on 1260. Yeah. I mean, I laughed at a lot of the comments. Some of them I was like, my God, you people are going nuts right now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the criticism, depending on the level of it, certainly justified. He was shitty last night. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely horrendous. The first giveaway was a aberration. Just absolutely terrible play. There's no way he should be hanging on to that puck behind the net that long. Braden Shen checks him off it. Bushnevich to Kyrou, bing, bang, boom. Kyrou snipes it. And you're like, what the hell was that? You go, okay, maybe he cleans it up. But guess what? With a minute left, you have a power play. They pull their goalie, and it looked like a hot potato out there. And I was like, these guys are going to piss this away. Yeah. And sure enough, it ends up on Darnell Nurse's stick behind the net. Instead of going up the wall because the guy's coming, boards.
There was nobody there.
Blasting out a casual through the middle breakout pass for Leon Draisaitl. Tarasenko's stick, luckily, skillfully gets on it. 1 pass, 2 pass, and a goal. Absolutely pathetic. And then on top of that, we should add that Connor McDavid tried to save the day. Went behind the net. He got checked off the
Bodied
puck.
Off the
that
puck.
Didn't help.
Yeah.
And sure enough, we're talking about a 4-3 shootout loss instead of a 3-2 win in regulation. So bad, Dusty. So bad. And everybody, like, people are like, fire, like, get him to the press box.
Oh, yeah.
Send him to the minors. Bench him. Like, he's already, Low Tide brought it up yesterday on his show. He's like, are you noticing, Tom, that Kulak and Barry are getting more minutes with the big line? And I was like, I didn't notice that. And he goes, well, what do you think of it? I'm like, that tells me they don't trust Nurse as much. And then to a lesser extent, Cece, that they're putting Kulak and Barry up there more and more. And I think yesterday was a prime example of why you can't trust Darnell Nurse right now. Will he work his way out of this, Dusty? Probably.
He has
to.
But
that was what the Darnell Nurse haters were salivating for. That type of night where they could just feast on his miscues, and they had every right to yesterday. But I mean, some of them were quite over the top on the post-game show, so I couldn't read them.
Yeah, a couple of things to discuss here. The whole play in general. I mean, you mentioned it was like this hot potato. So Nurse gets the puck. McDavid and Draisaitl immediately turn up ice. They're out of there. They're gone. They're thinking empty netter. We're getting another goal and assist. So then Nurse gets turned back in behind the net, so they do have to turn around. But as soon as he got that puck, they were out of there, and they didn't need to be out of there. They, like, Nurse and McDavid and Draisaitl in that situation, this is the learning moment for all of them. You're trying to lock away a victory. Don't care about the empty net. Nurse, they could have, all three of them could have gone and eaten it in the corner for 19 seconds. They win that hockey game. So they look to head up ice. Nurse goes behind the net. He's thinking the same thing. He's thinking, I got Leon up at the blue line. I'm going to throw it up the middle. He didn't even have to go off the glass and out. He was trying to get it to, I thought he was trying to get it. Was it Zach Hyman on the far boards? It looked like he might have been trying to play it to Hyman and hit a stick and bounce up the middle, because he could have just rung it around the boards, just hammered up along the boards, and Hyman was there, could have chipped it out, game over, essentially. So the entire offensive mindset, as soon as they got that puck, I was like, boom, we're gone. Flip it up here. We're going to go get points. And they, lesson learned. You screwed up. But then even after he turned it over, McDavid comes back to get it, easily pushed off the puck. And then they throw it out, and Nurse is standing there next to nobody, and then just does the awkward lay down thing. And I'm like, you're not blocking the shot there. You're not stopping the pass. You're not as soon as he gave that puck away, you should have said, hey, who's the most dangerous guy on the ice? It was the dude standing right next to him. Like, it was bizarre to me, man. So many aspects to that play.
The dude standing right next to him, who started the whole play by breaking up his crappy
I know, he's
pass.
right there. I don't get it.
I don't get it.
That was so bizarre. It was weird to me. Now,
it was awful.
The reaction of people saying, I had trade him, buy him out, like everything. Like it was here's the thing. Darnell Nurse is never going anywhere. Darnell Nurse is tight with the core. He's not being waived. His minutes probably aren't even being dialed back. So that being said, I do think these top end guys need to be held accountable. There was one way to do it, and it was to say you're not getting on the ice in overtime because you just cost us this hockey game. And they didn't. And I know Rashad had some good points in the mandate today. We talked about, he goes, well, Darnell Nurse is very dangerous in overtime with McDavid and Draisaitl. Like, they're always together. But to me, that's true too. But that's like, you have Tyson Barrie you could have thrown out there. You could have put Bouchard out there in overtime. To me, that was an easy way to hold one of your leaders accountable, and you missed on it because they're not healthy scratching him. He's not going up to the press box. He's not playing less than 23 minutes because most nights they need him to do that. Yes. You could have just said, hey, Darnell, you made two horrible mistakes in this game that pushed this game to overtime in the first place. Just sit down and take a seat for now. And that would have been something to say, hey, look, Oilers hold leadership group accountable. Instead, they don't. Missed opportunity, but nothing of significance is going to happen. There's 7.5 years left on this deal, and he just has to play better. It's that simple.
Yep. He's in a rut. He's obviously making a ton of mistakes. Yesterday was the tippy top of the mountain when it comes to it, and it's up to him to redeem himself. And good on him for owning it yesterday post game. Some guys just stay in the players lounge and they don't bother, but that was bad. And just as well as a coach recognizes when a guy's on in a game and he's going and like, okay, I got to get this guy out there more. Well, that was a night where Darnell Nurse was not on and you got to get him on less. And that didn't happen. And I think Jay Woodcroft, learned a hard lesson too in that moment. And I know he said we win as a team, we lose as a team, but maybe his instincts were to keep Nurse on the bench, but he gave him the benefit of the doubt and it blew up in their face in a horrible way. I'll say this. It's better for this to happen in game 31 than game 87, 93, 101. But if they don't take the lesson out of this and don't, change and tweak a few little things in a mindset, this type of situation or something similar could pop up again.
That's your Boston Pizza Appetizer. Join us on Tuesday at the Terwilliger Boston Pizza location, 6 o'clock. We'll be set up there doing a live episode of the Oil Stream. Even the D coverage on the second goal sucked. Like, you go up 3-1, all of a sudden you're like, okay, 9 minutes left, up 3-1, should be able to lock this down. And then it was the McDavid Draisaitl line that was on the ice and just wide open. Guy wide open in a great shooting spot. I thought Skinner played extremely well last night. His teammates did not help him out on a lot of those goals.
He really did bail them out on so many instances because St. Louis put together a decent game when they weren't taking too many men penalties or lineup infraction penalties. The Blues had great chances and they finally took advantage.
Joey Ba04 is asking, does this recent Nurse issue accelerate a trade for a defenseman? Does it accelerate it, Tommy? I would probably say the trade for a defenseman happens when it happens. I don't think because of what happened last night or what's happened lately with Nurse, all of a sudden you're like, got to pull the trigger on something in early January. I just don't see Ken Holland operating that way.
Yeah, what are they, 7-3-1 in the last 11 too? Like, they're still in a good spot. They've got a pretty
reasonable schedule.
Reasonable schedule. I didn't want to say easy schedule because, as we witnessed last night, they couldn't take advantage of a weakened team. Ultimately, they've been working on this. They've been doing their due diligence on trying to bolster the defense. Does it ramp up the pressure? No, but it certainly doesn't make things any easier. That's for sure. But they've been consistently trying to work on something, and they know at a certain point they're going to have to make a deal and try to bolster this defense. And yes, it'll probably be on the left side. But does it really crank up the heat? I don't think so.
All right, let's get inside the numbers for Cool Bet. Stay cool, bet responsibly with Cool Bet. The Oilers get the Ducks on Saturday afternoon. Now, I know it's an afternoon game, and maybe that changes little things here. Now, this game is not yet live over at Cool Bet, so you can't bet it just yet. I'm just going to tell you right now, my play tomorrow on this game, and maybe I'll get them to put up a special bet on Saturday morning, but McDavid to have 2 points, Draisaitl will have 2 points, and Oilers to win by 2 goals or more. Tommy, that's what happens against the Ducks, right? Like, Oilers bounce back with a rather convincing victory here on Saturday?
I'm going to say yes. I think that they're going to, feel the sting of last night's defeat, and they're going to take it out on the poor Ducks, who are on a heater, having just beaten Montreal last night convincingly.
In regulation.
In regulation. I know. 8th win of the season for Anaheim. I think the Oilers are going to, lay the boots to the Ducks. But if they let off the gas, Anaheim could surprise them. And we know the Oilers have a tendency to do that. But I think your bet that you're coming up with for the good folks at CoolBet is a good one, and probably is something that'll be easy money and fulfilled.
Yeah, I'm going to text them today, and I'll try to get it up as soon as that game's up. We'll go McDavid and Draisaitl, 2 points each, and the Oilers to win by 2 or more on Saturday afternoon. You'll be able to find that over at coolbet.com. Before we wrap up, I do want to say, the goal that McDavid scored yesterday, I was texting with Cass and Gager, and I said, that's Pavel Bure. Not many guys in the history of the game have sniped the way he did, moving at that high of speed. I used to love watching Pavel Bure do those types of things, man. And when McDavid did that last night, to basically be full steam ahead and to snap it the way he did, I know he scored prettier and fancier goals this year, but that was straight up lethal, dude. That was nuts.
It's funny because on that power play, I'm sitting with Rashog, and we're watching them throw the puck around in the offensive zone, and it was out of sync. And they go back down 200 feet, and I'm like, Oilers power play looks like it's out of sync, writing it down in my notepad. And as I look up, Schauger goes, watch McDavid just do something ridiculous. And sure enough, he gets the puck, goes and fires that in. I'm like, what are you, Nostradamus? Unbelievable. It was just a great shot, just an absolute laser. So just, a little insight into what goes on in the press box. It's just pure glamour and outright genius, but that was a conversation that was had last night.
You know what? We should probably talk about this quickly. I didn't even get to it on my show today because the game was so nuts. But Clem Costin yesterday saying to the guys, "Hey, the fans don't like your questions." Costin, I don't think he meant he's a guy from Europe who handles himself differently than a North American guy would, right? I don't think he was trying to mock anybody. And he wasn't saying anything that was, maybe he was, but he wasn't saying anything that was untrue. We all get ripped for something, whether it's on the Oilers or me on CFL games or on the show. People bitch about us all the time, but it was weird. Kind of caught me off guard when I saw that pop up yesterday. What do you make of that whole thing?
Matty handled it well. I don't think the intent or malice was there from Costin's point of view, but it just added more bullets to the chamber for the fans to tee off on Matty. And he's my friend. He's a Hall of Famer for a reason. I didn't like it.
I didn't really think there was too much of a reason to tee off Matty yesterday.
But it doesn't create a good situation. I don't know. Maybe I'm in the minority here. I know the fans ate it up, but I'll stay on Matty's side on this one. And I didn't like it. I don't think the intent was there.
It was weird. I don't think. Yeah. I think Costin kind of looked at him, and obviously I wasn't there, but it's like he looked at him and was like, "Oh, you're the guy that all the fans are always ripping." Basically, right? It was weird.
Maybe he was excited because all the Blues reporters were around him at the time, and he had a big scrum waiting for him, and maybe he got excited. But it just it makes for an awkward situation. I thought it was a bit cringe, just in general. I'm not going to point the finger at anyone.
Yeah, I just don't know where it came from. It's not like he's been here for 2 years and the local media has gotten on his nerves. I feel like he's just kind of oblivious to how people operate in Canada. You know what I mean? That's kind of how it came across to me. Yeah, I don't think he was trying to do it to be a dick. I think he was just I know. Is he not pretty open in conversation? I haven't been down there, but he seems like a guy that says whatever.
He is a guy that people like to go to talk to because he is pretty open and fun to chat with, has a good self-deprecating type of personality. Absolutely. But it's just another situation where people are just teeing off on Matty. It's okay, all right, enough. Yeah.
All right, that's going to do it for us on the oil stream today. The next time we will see you, it will be on Tuesday night at Boston Pizza in Terwilliger, 6 o'clock. Pop by a little bit earlier, and we'll get you a beverage and get everything set up. And it should be pretty fun. Very much looking forward to that. We'll see what happens with that game against the Ducks. Maybe you get an oil stream in 5 on Sunday or something like that. So watch for that on your podcast feed. If you've been watching on the live stream, make sure you do subscribe to the Oil Stream podcast. Just search the Oil Stream wherever you get your podcasts, and you will find us over there. Tommy, get us out of here, buddy. Have a great weekend, man.
All right. Yeah, you too. Here's to everyone. Hope you have a great weekend. Let's hope that Elon Musk doesn't ban us all from Twitter temporarily. So in the meantime, be sure to like, share, subscribe, smash that thumbs up button. We'll see you at the Terwilliger BPs on Tuesday. Have a great weekend.